everybody, welcome, hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day, welcome. Hola a todo el mundo, bienvenidos, espero que estén teniendo un buen día. Hello, I'm sorry for the delay, I was having tech issues. As usual, I was struggling against the presentation software. It showed up in OBS and then it didn't. And then I just prepared a different window, and when I came back to it, it just wouldn't work no matter what I did. So I had to restart everything. And now I think it works. We're about to see. So, welcome. Hi. Welcome, Research. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Happens, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Leo, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Lo que es moda no incomoda. Habla alguien que claramente nunca usó moda incómoda. Lydia, welcome, hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day, welcome, welcome. Nimby, welcome, hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day, welcome, welcome. Nirwanda, welcome, hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day, welcome, welcome. Research, welcome. No, wait, Rancor, welcome, hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day, welcome, welcome. And bye. Hi, bye, passing by. Well, thank you for coming. You missed the lecture. Miss Nichols forgot her syllabus. Give her a moment, class. No, the syllabus was here. The syllabus was here. It just wasn't showing. It just OBS refused to open it for some reason. No kidding. Usually I'm not interested in fashion, but Ellie makes it interesting. Her enthusiasm is contagious. I'm hoping. I always hope that this is an opportunity to for people who don't really know much or care much about fashion, to at least understand the appeal, to at least understand where it could be interesting, you know? I don't expect everyone who watches this to get out of here a fashion fanatic, but I'm hoping that at the very least, people will understand why some can care as much, you know what I mean? Saluda que estás en la tele, ¿cómo que estoy en la tele? ¿En qué? ¿En qué? ¿Qué? ¿Estaba Leo mirando? No, mis compañeros de laburo. Oh my god. Hola. ¿Y si me pongo nerviosa, Leo? ¿Y si arruinas la lectura? La lectura, ¿ves? Eso es Spanglish. ¿Y si me pongo nerviosa? ¿Y si me pongo nerviosa? Bueno, bienvenidos, compañeros del laburo de Leo. Espero que tengan un buen día. Ellie, a lot of streamers leave you sitting on the starting soon screen for 30 minutes or more. A 10-minute wait is fine. It's not fine. I don't like it, but I tech issues, you know? Tech issues. Ugh. Can't believe she mistook you for a retouch. You're both Polish and your name starts with an R. Do I have a little bit of a leeway because of that? Do I at least get a little bit of permissiveness because of that? So you started without me? No, I didn't. Welcome. Hi, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome, retouch. How are you? I literally have not started. Don't worry. I never really cared about fashion before, but I enjoy the gala streams. They're neat. I'm glad that you can enjoy them. I'm glad that you can enjoy them, and I hope you will enjoy this, because this is a new thing. I've never prepared like a full class dissertation thing for the Met Gala. I always explain it really fast right before the gala, and today this time around I decided, nah, you know what? Let's not be rushing. Let's not actually be skipping many things that I want to say because I'm feeling the constraints of time. I'm feeling the gala get closer and closer, and I'm just rushing through my material. Instead, let's do it on a different day so that I don't have to rush and that you guys get to ask questions and we can all understand the theme proper. No, you don't. No, I don't want. No, I don't want. Also, by the way, retouch, and if you're still here, Rancor, did you hear about the Polish streamer that got, like, broke records for cancer research charity? I heard about that the other day. Apparently, it's, like, something that happened this year, recently. Someone, like, a Polish streamer just broke pretty much every record for anti-cancer fundraiser. not anti-cancer, but like for cancer research and treatment, you know, like for helping. It's awesome. It's awesome. I just learned about it the other day. Don't worry, Ellie. It's either US background noises or Cuartetos del Recuerdo, a 3 hours video, which we have already heard on repeat for over 5 years by now. Why always the same video? There's gotta be more stuff to watch. There's gotta be more stuff that you're interested in watching. At least, if you're watching me, you have access to anything online. Is that what you've been doing on your vacation, Retouch? I don't think that would be Retouch. I don't think Retouch would want to be an influencer slash internet personality, I guess. But yeah, I think it's really cool. I found out about that the other day, and I was like, oh, I gotta bring it up in the stream so that I can ask the Polish people to if they heard about it. And then I kept forgetting, and I guess now I remembered. Lydia, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome. How are you? How did the D&D session go yesterday? Hello. Okay. Enough time spent. Enough time wasted. It's time to start classes. Everyone, get your notebooks out or whatever. If you're gonna take notes. You're not gonna take notes. You have this VOD to reference back if you want to. Why always one video, she asked, while I'm on my 12th listen to the Morrowind quick retrospective video? Hey, if that's what you want, but 5 years? 5 years is a lot. 5 years sounds like a lot to be repeating one video. I finished my character backstory. Wait, so you were building character? Is that what you were doing so far? You were session 0 building characters? Or did you actually start the adventure? I'm confused. Anyways, confusion aside, I should get started with the class. Am I procrastinating because I'm scared that the PowerPoint-ish feature software is not gonna work? Am I scared that I'm about to have a breakdown live because technology? Yes, I am. However, we're gonna push forward and hope that everything is gonna work. A pink English anime girl talking está en directo. La piba is more interesting than putting some Mexican telenovela. Anyways, continue with the PowerPoint. Let's start with the PowerPoint because we haven't even started. Also, does any of your coworkers like fashion, care about the Met Gala or anything like that? Or are you having them hostage? ¿Los tenés de rehenes a los pobres? Session 0 was character sheet creation. Session 0 2.0 was backstory. So you're still in session 0. Session 0 part 2 electric boogaloo. Got it. Say it with me, Ellie. What's the worst that could happen? I'm not... Don't do that to me. Don't. You know what could happen. You know what the worst thing that could happen is. Everyone is a hostage at work, Ellie. Good point. Good point. You are correct. Anyway, so Met Gala is coming up this Monday in 2 days' time. Right after the class, I'm also going to tweet something about Dracula Daily. If you haven't read Dracula, this is your sign. Go sign up for Dracula Daily right now. You don't have an option. I'm holding you hostage now. Go sign up for Dracula Daily. That's after the stream. During the stream, we're gonna talk about the Met Gala. That's happening on Monday night. That's happening like a day and a half from today. And we're gonna start from the very basics. What even is the Met Gala? Because every year, there's a lot of people that have misconceptions about it. Every year, there's a lot of people who look at it and go, that's a disgusting waste of money for nothing but publicity and showing off. And I want to start by dissuading that sort of discourse from the get-go. Because the Met Gala happens for two reasons. One, of course, is the publicity. Yes, brands want to be seen in the red carpet. Brands want to be on everyone's radar. Brands want to be at the top of the fashion game because that's their business. That's how they make money. That is true. Same with the celebrities that get invited. They want to put their name out there. They want to be hot topics. Obviously, there is some financial gain. However, it's a fundraiser. It's for funding the arts, the archival work that museums do, the culture sharing that museums do. The Met Gala is for gathering money for all of this, which is why it's important and not just a gigantic waste of money. The money is not just going to some CEO's pockets. It's going back to the Metropolitan Museum. All right? So, it's a fundraiser for the Costume Institute of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. After the Met Gala, the entire year until the next Met Gala, the museum works with the fundraising that happened during the Met Gala. So the money's for tax evasion, got it? It's not! It's for maintaining archival work, which is what museums do. Preservation, it's important. But since it is the Costume Institute of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, that's why it's all about fashion, because it is hosted by the Costume Institute of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Do we understand so far? Yes, obviously. A way to say, see, I bought an RP, so now you deduct this. I actually don't know how many... We have that idea about art pieces, but I actually don't know. It probably changes not just country to country, but state to state in the United States. Like, probably the tax laws are completely different depending on the area. But anyways, it's a fundraiser. It's important. The theme and the dress code. Please update. I moved. What the fuck do you mean? See? Okay. This is what I was fucking scared of. This is what I was scared of. I already moved to the next slide. And this thing isn't updating. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Give me a second, guys. Give me a bit. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm trying not to cry because I cannot believe that took an extra, what, 10 minutes? 15 minutes? I hate technology so much. I swear to God. I genuinely cannot understand how this could be working before the stream, and the last minute, it decided to break on me, and I have no idea how to fix it. What I did now is another one of those cases where I do a band-aid solution, and if it breaks, I have no more. I have no more band-aid solutions, okay? This is the last one. I have no clue what to do. Anyways, sorry. I want to be excited about fashion, but right now, I'm just fuming and I'm scared. So, hi, you pink wave of sad crying. Yeah, I'm on the edge. I'm not gonna lie. I am on the edge of, like, actually crying. Because I'm so fucking tired of, like, I love being a VTuber, but everything that you do as a VTuber requires software, and software is a nightmare. Software, I wish it could just not exist in a way. I fucking hate it. It either needs to be consistent and work every time that it's gonna work, or break in a consistent way every time, or something. Sorry, anyways. I need to recenter myself because I am now extremely tilted. Crumpets, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Hi. Funny thing is that I had a storm approaching for the last hour, getting louder and louder. I was certain I would lose power right as the stream started. Suddenly just evaporated, and now this. It's the curse is rebalancing. I kind of wish you had the storm instead of me. Because I'm genuinely, like, I am genuinely holding myself together right now. Podrás estar menos nerviosa, estoy viendo desde el celular, yo nomás se pusieron a ver casados con hijos. See, that's what happens. I'm so fucking pissed. Back, no longer distracted by 50 things. What's going on? It says from Ellie imploding. Ellie imploding. Ellie genuinely doesn't understand why PowerPoint was working up until the very minute that I needed it, and then it decided not to work, and now I have to do a fucking screen capture instead of, you know, capturing a program the way that it's safe. Instead, it's a goddamn screen capture. And I had to close, like, make sure that many programs weren't even remotely. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Give me a sec, guys. I'm still here. I'm still here. Barely. My soul is very, very slowly leaving this plane, but I am still here. You can still hear me? Okay. Okay. I cannot guarantee that this is actually gonna happen today, apparently. I imagine Ellie taking screenshots of every page, turning them into JP, and putting them in a folder or something. I guess that is the last possible... I guess that is the last possible solution that I would have. It would just take so long to set up that I would have to move the stream to a different day. Like, it wouldn't be possible to do it in the moment. Do a handcam stream? I would also have to set that up. I also can't set that up right now, right here. Have you just restarted your PC before the stream? Restart, not turn off and on? Serious question. No! It's the same! You keep saying that! It's the same! Do a handcam stream and point the camera to the monitor? That would suck! That would look so bad! I cannot think of a single feature of OBS that works without taking advantage of glitches to trick it into doing what it's supposed to do. And I genuinely feel like throwing up about it. I miss when you install programs and they just did the thing that is literally their sole purpose for exist. Right? Right, that's what it's supposed to be. Right? I am so tired, bro. I am just so tired. Can we go back to programs that are just like for one thing and that you buy once and they just work and you don't need a fucking subscription and you don't need patching up because these programs are half-baked and they try to fucking redirect you to an app or something? It's okay, Ellie. We understand. We are very happy that you to have you nonetheless. Thank you. I am right now in a bad headspace. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in a bad headspace. This was supposed to be like... At the same time, I wanted this to be like a clickable stream for anyone who cares about the Met Gala that maybe doesn't know me. Like later, maybe tomorrow someone would find this and be prepared for the Met Gala. I can't do that. I cannot do that now, can I? The only thing holding her together is that damn sticker. I'm gonna take that out, actually. Can I take that out? I genuinely don't know. Because it's not me. It's not my fault that software is a piece of shit nowadays. Don't worry, Ellie, we won't say anything when you leak your real name. I don't think that would ever leak, even if I did do very reckless things. Because who has their just sensitive information just waiting in the wallpaper, right? Remember debut flashbacks? Okay, yeah, that one was worse, but still. You had company? Who's the other girl? I think you're talking about the VTube Studio logo. I feel so bad because I don't want to be chucking, but I can't help it. You're evil. Took too much meth. It collapsed your PC. Why is my PC doing meth? And where is it getting the money for meth? Anyways, hi, Violet. Thank you so much for being here for 15 months. I hope that you've been enjoying. I hope that you keep enjoying. Thank you for being a member. Are you getting ready for the Met Gala on Monday? Take it easy, yeah? I'm trying, but the universe is conspiring against me specifically. I'm not going to lie. I expected Ellie to fade out and the sticker to remain. The sticker is attached to the software, actually. Well, you're asking us and give companies the right to downgrade the products you own or make them obsolete and unstable because they release a new version with less features. And that's the point, isn't it? Everything is degrading. People are getting dumber, and so they put less effort into things. Yeah. Let's get back to the Met Gala, because if we start talking about this, I'm just gonna get depressed. Oh, to be a billionaire and to have the ability to launch a product that hopefully would be sustainable enough to take shares away from the billionaires who don't deserve them. Anyways, tangent question. So you distress or maybe stress more? Hope the former. Can we rainbow and pet BRB snake? No, you cannot rainbow because of the way that because of the way that it's set up and the way that the rainbow works. You could not do that. I'm pretty sure you could not do that. Either of them. I'm pretty sure neither of them is possible. Maybe the hand petting one. Big maybe. But it would take a lot of finagling. It would take a lot of tinkering to see if it's even possible. Anyways, time for actually talking about the Met Gala. How do we even head pat you then? Because it's a feature of VTube Studio itself. And the BRB is completely set up on OBS. So it's, you know, different softwares. Okay, so we've talked about what the Met Gala is and why it's important and what I care about it, right? But one thing about the Met Gala is that it has a theme for the year and a dress code. The theme isn't for the Met Gala itself. It's for the exhibition of the year. Every year, the exhibition of the museum changes. The stream starts now. The past hour didn't happen. Exact hour! I'm not okay. I am not okay. Anyways, so as we talked about in the part of the stream that didn't happen, this is a fundraiser for the museum, right? And so museums have exhibitions. The Met establishes a theme for the exhibition for the year. And then every year in May, the exhibition changes. The theme of the museum exhibition is different from the dress code of the event that is the Met Gala. The Met Gala happens at the inauguration of the exhibition. The celebrities that go get a meal and then they get to actually watch the exhibition. They get to go through the museum and see the exhibit before it's open to the public, right? They're going to see everything that has to do with how the exhibition was placed. And they have a dress code for the public part of the event. The dresses, the red carpet, the dinner, etc., right? So the theme and the dress code are two different things. The theme is what the museum exhibition is based around, the pieces that will be on display in the museum for the next year, the order in which they're organized, you know, the narrative that the museum is telling with this exhibition. If you've ever gone to a museum that has an exhibition, you will know that they have some sort of theme tying the whole thing together. Because if you just have like anything everywhere, it's kind of chaotic and not really that conductive to you absorbing any of it. However, if there is some sort of organization, you're going to have an easier time going through it and understanding it a little bit better. And since museums are a place for like culture and learning, you do want to facilitate understanding. The dress code is what the guests are encouraged to bring to the fundraising gala, which is the red carpet event, the inauguration event, the dinner, and everything, right? Intern Mouse, welcome and hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Hello! What's happening here? I'm giving a class on the Met Gala, and we literally just got started. Don't ask. Don't ask. We literally just got started for reasons that you don't want to know. Anyways, either the theme or the dress code is a valid choice for the attendees to design their looks around. I've spoken about this before every single time that we've done one of the Met Gala's reviews. But even though the dress code is what is to be most expected, right? Because it is literally the dress code. Because this is inherently tied to the exhibit, you could ostensibly choose to honor the theme and mirror the theme instead of using the dress code. Sometimes, however, they use neither because hashtag business, boo. Brands are gonna brand. If brands have an outfit they really want to showcase on a celebrity and it has nothing to do with the theme and it has nothing to do with the dress code, guess what? Sometimes they do that and it's boring as hell and we hate it. Boo, tomato, 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 stop. I don't like it. However, it's always to be expected that at least one brand is going to dress a celebrity in something that has nothing to do with anything, which is a boring option. Don't ask or it will break. Exactly. Nako Chen, welcome and hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Is this about a real museum exhibition. Yes, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which is the one of the, because there's many, one of the most important museums in New York. But this is like an event that is very well known globally. The Met Gala, wasn't that the same one with that balloon outfit I saw? Maybe. I don't know what balloon outfit. Alright, so the theme. We're gonna start with the theme of the exhibition, and this is going to take a bulk of the class, but it is the thing that has the most official material right now from the Met itself. The theme they have chosen for this year is costume art. What does costume art mean? First of all, it is referential to the Costume Institute itself and its history. As I mentioned before in the very first slide, this is a fundraiser organized by the Costume Institute of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, right? It has to do with fashion because it's this specific branch of the museum that hosts it. So choosing costume art when they are the Costume Institute itself is a little bit self-referential. The director said that he wanted the thesis to be the indivisible connection between our bodies and the clothes we wear, aka the relationship between fashion and figure, between material and canvas. Now, if this is a little bit difficult to understand, I understand, I get it, don't worry, hold my hand, we'll go through this together. If you ask a painter what their canvas is, they'll literally just say a canvas, right? Canvas, which can have different textures. It can be of different grades, of different... I'm coming empty with the words because I'm looking for the specific vocabulary. But it can be a tighter canvas. It can be a looser canvas. It can have more knots per, like, inch, because a canvas is made with fabric. It can be a synthetic canvas, right? Your canvas as a painter could be a bed sheet. There's a lot that goes into a canvas, but at the end of the day, the medium of painting is constrained by the canvas of a canvas. If you ask someone who does art installations, their canvas, their constraint is the space you have in one room or several rooms, depending on how the installation is handled. But that is the constraints they are working with and around. They are designing something not just to fit into a space, but they're taking the space as one of the elements of that installation. It's not the same to have a sculpture that goes into a room that's not working with the space than an installation which is working with the space to transform it. If you ask a wood carver or a sculpture of some sort, what is their medium, their constraint? Their constraint is one block of material, one block of wood, maybe several blocks of material that they glue together, right? Because that is also a way to handle sculpting. But at the end of the day, your art is so indivisible from the medium and the canvas of your art. I hope I'm being clear about this, but I feel like I'm using the same words over and over and over. Their constraint is their mortal body, the money, the energy, and so much on. No, but you're saying things that are constraints for everything. Your constraint for breathing is your mortal body. Your constraint for eating is your energy and your money and your mortal body. Like, your constraint for existing is what you're saying. But for art, specifically, each specific type of art has a specific medium it has to work around. It has to base itself around. If you can't breathe, you can't make a sculpture. Yeah, but it's not like you're being facetious. What we're talking about is the relationship here between the art and its medium. Between, again, the body and the clothes the body wears. So if you think about it in this way, maybe the understanding of what costume art means is easier. Because here's the thing. You could be using one big bedsheet, and that's something that could cover you. If the intent of fashion, of clothes, is to cover you, why aren't we all wearing this and nothing more? Why aren't we all wearing a bedsheet that has a hole for the head and a hole for the arms? And that's that. You know? Why aren't we all doing that? Why aren't we all going around in cloaks and tents? Why do we swap the ways the fabric hugs body parts? Why do we care about elements that aren't related to just accomplishing the basic function of clothing, which is covering you up? That's it. Covering you up and that's it. How thick is the line between calling it art and calling it mental illness? I think anything can be obsessive, not just art. Because it doesn't sell, it wouldn't move as much money as it does now. But we're not even talking about as an industry. We're not even talking about clothes as an industry. If you were completely apart from an industry, but you were a creative person, you wouldn't just wear the same thing over and over. If you were like in a deserted island that happens to have miles and miles of fabric, and you were someone who is creatively inclined, you would eventually start experimenting. You would eventually start having fun with it. You would eventually start trying to do things to play with the relationship between your body and that fabric. Because at the end of the day, humans or humanoids and art are one of the oldest relationships we have any sort of record from, if not the oldest. Think about paintings in caves, right? The handprints in caves. Think about how even when we had nothing that could be left in writing or in archive, we were still imprinting our creativity as humanoids. We needed to do something creative. Dancing, music, all of it, art. There's a study that proves wearing the same clothes will be less stressful for you and let you do more choices in your day-to-day life. Life is taxing enough to be measurable and noticeable. Maybe some people. But there's also the mental health of being able to express yourself and being able to express your creativity. Like, if you're not someone who is interested in this as a form of art, I understand how that could be. But for someone who is creative and who craves that sort of expression, it would be draining to not be able to express themselves that way. So, anyways, we could be wearing just straight up a bedsheet with holes. Chittens. This is what they called it in the past, right? The actual naming convention for this was a chiton, or however I'm supposed to pronounce it. But instead, these are the records that we have. We didn't just wear bed sheets, did we? We added straps to form around the body, the bust. We added layers. We added like cutouts to show parts of the body that are specifically chosen to be shown. We added decorations, frills. We added like extra shapes, extra colors. We added things, and then we shaped those clothes around the body, not just for functionality, because again, just 2 holes is functional enough. In fact, some of these choices, this choice makes it less functional. But it's not just about functionality, is it? It's about playing with the relationship between that fabric and the body. The relationship between the fabric and the canvas. And that's what costume art is. That is the idea of this theme. That's the point of the theme of costume art. The relationship between clothing and the canvas, the medium of clothing works in tandem with. This is the official image that the theme was presented with. We are going to probably see a lot of Greek-inspired stuff because it is one of the earliest examples we have of this idea of moving the fabric around and tightening it around specific forms or accentuating different parts of the body because we like it, because we want to see like more aesthetically pleasing things and not just functional. If you enjoy it, it's not stressful, or at least the end result is better than the interim stress. Exactly. Exactly. The most non-functional added is proven in the first hoplita armor, the muscle and nipples in the cuirass. Totally artistical. But that's what I mean, you know? There is a relationship between what we wear and how we want to play with the body and how we want to emphasize things or hide things, how we want to not just be wearing clothes. We want to be wearing clothes and like adapting them to the body. I've always been function over form, and that's totally understandable. Obviously, that is totally understandable. But that's the entire definition of artistic costuming, right? I feel like you should be giving this lesson to all those fashion designers here because I understand it loud and clear. They, however, need a wake-up call. Well, you're about to see, if you stick around for this, you're about to see so much about fashion designers that are doing like the things correctly. But you're probably talking about industrialized fashion, which is an entirely different topic. Anyways, so yeah, this goes back to, the theme goes back to the earliest examples we have of clothing. From the moment we had clothing, it wasn't just about putting fabric on the body to protect it from the cold. It was always going to evolve and change into doing something with it that playing around creatively, right? Playing around creatively, doing something with it that will emphasize the body. The exhibition is going to be divided into 3 categories this year. I've explained it in past years that there's always like the different wings of the museum, the different, as I was saying, the narrative, the order in which the exhibit is organized. And this is always organized in themes because it makes it easier. So this year, there's going to be 3 main categories, 3 different ways to engage with the concept of costume art. The first one is bodies omnipresent in art, classical and nude. The second one is undervalued bodices, like aging bodies, pregnant bodies, and others. And the third one, which is the one that I think most people here will be interested in as far as the theme, is the universal anatomical body. Get your head out of the gutter. I don't mean it that way. You'll see, but I think that's the one that is gonna catch the eye of most people here. Category 1, bodies omnipresent in art, both classical and nude. This is all material that the Met Gala has shared about this new exhibition. These are pieces that are being added to the exhibit. We have The Naked Body by Albert Dürer, or how I'm supposed to pronounce that because it has that little U. We have some Egyptian tablets. Representations of humans, as I was saying, is like one of the, if not the oldest. It is actually the oldest type of art. Let's go back to that cave painting example. Let's go back to people just pressing their hands against stone or drawing themselves, stick figures, but still themselves in the stone, right? Themselves hunting animals, themselves dancing, painting the human body. At the end of the day, if you go further back, as far back as one can go, it's always there's something so beautiful about the fact that art has always been filtered. Because we create art. Because we create art. Filtered through the condition of being humanoid. They could have rotated the image 90 degrees to the right, Lazy Gala makers. Or maybe this is how it's presented for reasons. When you consider that the first clothing was most probably made from animal hide, it makes sense. Animal furs have evolved patterns and colors, not just for defense, but for showing off. Good, interesting way to think about it. You can't find a lack of expression because it's a necessity if you don't search in the proper place. Excuse me? Nude? Yes. The arts have always represented bodies in nude forms and dressed. What reason would that be? Because this is the first category of the exhibition. Like, the idea of exploring how art has been related to the human body. Because clothing is inherently related to the human body. Clothing does not exist without the human body. If you have clothing that isn't at all related to the human body, you don't have clothing, you have fabric. It becomes clothing when it's worked with the constraint and in relation to a human body. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. If it's not organized, sewn, pinned, glued in a way that it's around a human body, it's literally just fabric. It becomes clothing when it's adapted to anatomy. So because of that, the exhibition starts with the relationship between art and body. The body has always been present in art from the very start of art. One of the pieces that is going to be exhibited on the Met Gala, as far as, sorry, not the gala, in the museum, as far as the relationship between art and body, is this sheer dress that is paired, at least in what they have presented so far, with the older transparent linens they used in Egypt. What I mean is, of course, Greece's expression in early days in clothing, you can live there nude and have no problem. Meanwhile, people in the polls, they had less expression in clothes in their early days. They developed it later after it was easier to make clothes. That's what I meant. Yeah, which is part of what I'm saying. Like, you can have clothes that are just functional, but as soon as it's possible to do, people will express their creativity through it. Don't families watch the Met Gala too? Hearing a nude category definitely shook me. Nudity doesn't have to be sexual. And that's important to understand. Like, look at this painting. Nothing about this painting is sexual. In fact, it is from the Garden of, you know, the Garden of whatever, Adam and Eve. It's like the less sexual thing ever. I don't think they were allowed to have sex. Nudes bodies are not necessarily sexual. They're just the canvas. So category 1 is bodies omnipresent in art, classical and nude. Do I have another slide for this? Yes, I do. We have marble statues from, again, Greece, Rome, Egypt. We have as many statues as we could find, and guess what? The human body is ever present throughout all of it. The oldest artifacts we find of every single culture, yes, there are vases, yes, there are animals, but every culture we have found has created things in relation to the human body, represented the human body in some way, shape, or form. And we still find artifacts. We found one this year. We found this year a new, old, an ancient statue of Athena that we hadn't found before. Imagine YouTube taking down the stream because of nudity. I sure hope not. It's artistic nudity. Anyways, and I'm pairing this statue on the left, right? On the right, which is one of the things that is going to be exhibited in the museum, with another piece of, like another photograph that the Met has used in the press, which is... There's going to be probably a lot of clothes that kind of point and reminisce about Greek, Roman influences. This is not what they wore back at the time. It definitely wasn't exactly this. But when we think today of the way that we take the influences that we have from them, it does have a lot to do with this kind of draping, knotting, and this kind of figures. The influence of it is still strong. It's still going strong and it will never go away. I wanted to joke and stream taken down. Hopefully not! Hopefully not! Surprised she didn't put a censor bar over that one. No, it's artistic nudity. What was the statue that is a great human male nude statue that is from Rome or Greece, but the history behind it, it was the middle finger of the sculpture because he received a hard worked stone. Are you talking about the David? I wonder who will pick Egyptian clothes since they are not that different, culturally inspired more than culturally accurate. Exactly! Culturally inspired more than culturally accurate. Exactly. I wonder who will pick Egyptian clothes since they are not that different and who will go to Roman era. We're probably not going to see artistic, like, historic recreations at all. I'm gonna talk about what I expect us to see, but I don't think we're going to see accurate, like, historic, recreations. I'm gonna speak about why later, but I think we're gonna see a lot of things that are like this, like inspired, you know, like reminiscent in theory, not in accuracy. We do have a bunch of statues all over in the exhibition. This is one of the pictures they have shown. So this is definitely going to be one of the bigger influences. But I've spoken about category 1 enough. Let's move to category 2. Undervalued bodies, aging, pregnant, and others. One thing that this exhibition is going to focus on in one of its wings / one of the parts of the exhibit is this idea of we tend to see clothes in the mainstream, in the industry, like pretty much everything to do with fashion. We tend to see in very specific types of bodies, but this kind of diversity is not something that we normally engage with. And at the end of the day, remember, this entire theme is about the relationship between fabric and its canvas. Canvases that can come in so many different diverse forms. And at the end of the day, again, sorry for repeating myself, if you're going to explore the relationship between fabric and canvas, you should explore the insane diversity of canvases. Bodices is the plural of body since when? I don't think it's a plural. I think it's a different word that means something extremely similar. Who spelled bodices isn't bodies the plural form of bodies? It's not the exact same word. It's not the exact same word, but this is the official word that they are using for the category delineation. So yeah, one of the parts is going to be different bodices, undervalued bodices. I'm really excited about this one, actually. I'm really excited about this one because I have like a personal fondness for the idea of destroying the stereotypes that come with fashion. Like, fashion being designed only for one type of body is something that I am strongly against as a fashionista, as a fashion girly. And one of my favorite memories that has to do with fashion is I once held a garage sale. This got really personal. This is not really... This is when a teacher starts telling you about their weekend for some goddamn reason and you don't know why, but you're gonna let them talk so that they can run off the clock. One of my favorite memories is regarding fashion is I once held a sort of like... what did I call it? One of those, you know, yard sales. Okay, a sort of a yard sale. And I was selling this little top with lace, and it was like very early 20s teenager kind of top. It was a crop top, it had a lot of lace, it was very see-through, you know, not the kind of thing that you would wear for your day-to-day life, but the kind of thing you expect to see in a club on a party by a girl who's, you know, trying to feel good about herself that day and taking a lot of pictures and maybe like attract a possible partner. But a young woman didn't buy that top. A woman who was maybe 70 years old bought that top, and she bought it for herself. She was very loud and clear about trying it on, thinking that it looked great on her, wanting to wear it. And we talked about it because I was like, I'm really excited to see that you're buying that for yourself and not for like a daughter or a granddaughter or something. And she specifically talked about how she had faced a lot of like looks, a lot of prejudice for daring to dress outside of her age, right? If they expect a 70-year-old woman to be wearing blazers and sweaters, why can't she wear a cute crop top with lace that is kind of see-through? That inspired me so much. That was one of the moments where I realized I care more about what people think than I should, and how much it limits you to give a shit about people having opinions on things that don't affect them at all whatsoever. So the idea of undervalued bodies, like aging bodies, being something that we don't see in fashion, we don't consider in fashion, that clothes are not normally built around, is something very dear and close to my heart. So I'm really excited about this part of the exhibition personally. Sounds like a word they made up to sound smarter and more specialized. I mean, it is more specialized. It is more specific as a word. You were a party girl? I wasn't a party girl. I have gone to a few discos, but I'm an introvert. I've gone in like a less than 10 number of occasions for sure. Anyways, category 2, undervalued body disease. This is also going to include pregnancy, humps, old people, as I was mentioning. These are some of the pieces that they have already shown. And I think it's fun. I think it's a fantastic part of the exhibition. I honestly really think it's a fantastic part of the exhibition. For example, do you know what an organoleptic research is? No. Absolutely not. The fuck is that? Genuinely? Research about how specific organs work? Question mark? Probably not. I'm probably wrong. I am probably incorrect. I'm disappointed. Oh, do you know? Do you know, huh? Do you know what it works? What it means, sorry. Do you know what it means? So, yeah. Anyways, I think that's the last for this part. Oh, no. No, I have one more. I have one more because I wanted to showcase, again, this relationship. They do this thing in the exhibit where they will, because it's the Costume Institute, they will showcase clothes very strongly as one of the elements of the exhibition. But it's also a museum. It's also having like archival work of a lot of different pieces of art. They're going to be presenting, for example, this weaved basket from the Meiji period in Japan. And it is very much believed that aside from it being clearly made out of a squash, it was very much related to fertility. And so the idea of pairing, like, again, art about fertility is some of the oldest pieces of art we have. We have so many artifacts from so many cultures. Every fucking culture has done artifacts related to fertility, right? We have found sculptures and vases and paintings and everything that had to do with fertility. And yet, in fashion, we undervalue the pregnant body as a canvas. So I think it's some beautiful paralleling that they are doing, right? As a curation, as a curated exhibit. So research made without any instrument. So just your eyes, hearing, smell, complete bullshit. Where does it that, people? I also think you're probably not gonna get much done with a research that uses 0 tools. Maybe back in the day when we had no tools, but if we have tools now, I think you're probably gonna get better results, right? Translation is we were so horny in the past. Well, I don't think so. I think it had to do with like the amount of like the rate of mortality, you know? You kind of needed to get a lot of children because most of them were not survived back in the past. So it was kind of important. Fertility was really important in a way that it's thankfully significantly less relevant today. The most important conceptual force, so to speak, for civilization. Without fertility, there's no future, literally. Exactly. BRB comenzó el fútbol y le metieron todo volumen al partido de Boquita. Me alejo para escucharse un rato. ¡No, Boquita! ¡No el partido de Boquita! None of us would ever survive the pass here. Oh, absolutely. I would die day one. I would not survive. I would die week 1. I'm gone. Literally week 1. I'm fucking gone. Anyways, yeah, that is definitely the last slide that I had for category 2. Category 3, which is the one that I said it was probably the most interesting to everyone here. The universal anatomical body. And the entire idea of this category, the entire idea of this one is like, again, the body is a canvas, but the body is a living thing. And it has so much going on. It has so much going on inside of it. And we can represent the body. Fashion horror, it kind of is. For someone like me, who doesn't deal well with body horror and with like the more like you know? The more biological things, they made me a little bit uncomfy. So that's why this one is the category that I'm personally not the most interested in. But it is interesting as a concept. Hey, hi, sir. Welcome. Hello. Welcome. Hi. Hope you're having a good day. What's going on is we are explaining the Met Gala theme. And we are about to end with the theme explanation and get to the dress code, actually. No soy fertility, you're going to starve. No personal fertility, whatever you are dies with you. No cultural fertility, you stagnate and fall apart. Exactly! You get it, man. That's neat, grody, neat. I know. Some of you are going to find this category quite interesting. You can ask Lena to see the Met Gala now, Ellie. Huh? What do you mean? Just tell her meat is back in the menu. This is why when someone threw a joke about like the Met Gala, the meat dress and everything, I was like, well, you're not entirely wrong. There is a spot for meat dresses in this year's gala in a way, because part of the theme is the universal anatomical body, and that means the universal reality of muscles, blood vessels, bones, you know? That is a universal thing about the body as a canvas. It has bones, it has muscles, it has blood, it has skin, it has these elements that are life, the elements of life. But once more, if we're exploring the relationship between that fabric and that body, hey, that body's a whole bunch of things that we can represent and emphasize with our fabric, with our art of dressing people. I think this one is going to be a category that brings up a lot of interesting clothes, even though they're not my personal favorite aesthetic. But I have collected some that, from the material that they have shown, that I find the most interesting. This one is very interesting to me. The next one is super interesting to me. Oh no, it's squished! I don't know why it's squished. That dress on the left is not supposed to look like that. It's a little bit squished. I don't like it. Anyways, again, blood vessels, arteries. That dress in the middle, That dress in the middle is like the very definition of the anatomical body, right? And I've actually seen this one, photos of this one on a person. Not my style of dress. Definitely not my style of dress. But hey, it's art. And that's what matters. I think Lena expressed interest yesterday. I don't know if she has a membership though. Can mods get into member stream without a membership? No, I don't think they can. Also, this is public, so she's gonna be able to watch this. She's not gonna be able to watch the actual gala. But I think the gala is on Monday. I think on Tuesday I'll actually do what I said I was gonna do last year and then I didn't. I actually will go through everything that happens in the gala, and I'll make a Twitter/Blue Sky thread talking about my favorite and least favorite outfits. Imagine these stencils are just chorizo. That's what chorizo is, bruh. Well, kinda. In a way. I wear deer skin and everyone compliments the texture. I wear beaver skin and everyone compliments the color. I wear my neighbor's skin though, and suddenly everyone gets all vegan on me. And that could be on the Met Gala this year. Thanks, Ellie, for this unique lesson. I'm so happy I could drop by. Hope you have fun with this lesson. Bye, friends, and Ellie, love you all. Goodbye, Mouse. Thank you for dropping by. I hope that you got some knowledge. I hope that you feel a little bit more informed and that you maybe see fashion a little bit differently, question mark. But yeah, have a great rest of your day. I hope you sleep well. Oh, that's murder. You're a murderer. Bitch, I'm fabulous. Rainbow Dash, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Anyways, yes, the body in relation to art. Do I have one more? Yes, I have one more. I have this one, which again, that is a squished picture. I'm very sorry. As I said, the software broke on me horribly, but I needed to show you guys that both of these pieces are in the exhibition. Both of them are the very basic same idea, representing the naked body through the fabric by printing or painting on it. Both of these are doing the exact same thing. They are, you know, trying to create the illusion of a naked body even though the body is clothed. One of them may be significantly more artistically than the other. But both of them expressing this relationship between the clothes and the anatomical body. Someone cosplaying me in my mother's womb at the gala would be crazy. Remember my words, someone will do that. Ooh, that's such an interesting concept. Oh, I hope someone does that. I hope someone does that. That's such a good one. I'm gonna write it down right now. Excuse me, give me a second. I'm gonna write it down in my bingo board. Mother's womb. I don't know if you're gonna be right, but I hope you are. I hope you are, because that would be neat. That would be so cool. Did you see the scary movie based on 300? Don't think so. I don't think so. Does that mean that you could cosplay the Spartans with a spray to do the ads and participate in this year's gala? Yes, absolutely. Definitely. You could. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you could. So yeah, I needed to show this one. Actually, I showed this one to Lena. Lena asked how I was doing with the class. And I was like trying to put the PowerPoint together. Like I was trying to organize all my references and all the images that I had saved up. So I just sent her this image. I just sent her this. And she was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, that's one of the museum's exhibits. No context. You get just latex naked man. Anyways, I think this is hilarious. But that's the theme. Now, dress code. This is the part that gets interesting. As if the other part wasn't interesting. This is the part that we're gonna see the most. That's what I mean to say, right? Like, this is the part that we're gonna see the most of. If the theme was costume art, fashion, like clothes in relation to its medium and to the body, The dress code can be understood as like almost the opposite. Clothes, even though they are in relation to the body, focused on something that isn't the body, something that isn't the canvas. The way that I wrote it down so that it's easier to understand is, if the theme of costume art can be explained as the medium in relation to its canvas, the dress code can be understood as the medium in relation to its function. What do I mean by this? A high visibility jacket, a uniform, a hospital gown, they are also designed around the human body and its anatomy, right? They are a high visibility jacket, it's a vest. Why is it a vest? There's reasons for the anatomical like functioning of the body that make it be a vest. You need the hole for the arms. You need a wide hole for the arms because you need a wide range of movement for the shoulder. A hospital gown. Hospital gowns famously only tied with a couple of strips so that it can be easily taken off and moved around for the doctors if they need to access specific parts of the body, right? They are designed around the body, but mainly or purely around its function. All of these are designed around the human body, but the intent is purely on what their function is. A uniform can be pretty. It definitely can be made to be visually appealing. But the main thing it's designed around is that it is immediately recognizable what that person is, what that person does, right? If I see a policeman on the street, I will recognize that regardless of what country I'm in, regardless of what city I'm in. Even if I've never seen how a, I don't know, the German policeman dresses, I will likely be able to identify a policeman if I go to Germany, because there's a functionality to a uniform that is emphasized above all, right? If we can have clothes designed entirely, purely, or almost purely for function, then you can also have the opposite. And that's what fashion is. Fashion is about working with the constraints of its medium, the material, the cloth, and the canvas, the body, to create art. Not just function, not just a reason based on the needs, but a reason based on the wants. As we were talking about at the very beginning, yes, you could wear the exact same thing every single day of your life, but people will want better. People will want artistic creativity and artistic expression. Be it just visual appeal, be it sociopolitical statements, be it self-expression. Fashion is like any other artistic medium. It's a creative way to engage with your imagination and to engage with your needs of expressing culture and everything related. Everything that is art. Fashion is clothing not done specifically just for the purpose of clothing the body, but also for an extra purpose that has to do with what we want. Maybe you just want to look pretty. Maybe you want to make a statement. Maybe you want to express something that's going on with you, right? And that's what fashion is. Not all people, but always some people. Exactly. Not all people care about self-expressing through their clothes, but some people care a whole fucking lot. People dress as clothes, and people dress as Greek, and people dress as body horror. Gaudy. Oh, you're about to see. Because again, that was the theme. And the theme is a valid choice for attendees to dress by. But the most likely thing is that people will stick to this theme because it has so much to give. It has so much to give, bro. I'm so excited about the kind of stuff that we're probably gonna see. This year is gonna be so good, probably. If people don't chicken out. I'm looking at you, Hailey Bieber, last year. Nix, welcome and hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. King Tuman, welcome and hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, welcome. Lamia teacher and everyone, I'm fully expecting detention for being so late. Don't worry, I was late too. Let's not talk about it. Fingers crossed the majority will actually attempt to stay with the theme. Fingers crossed the majority will actually make an effort, because it has so much to give. There is literally... You know how I said I maybe would draw what I would wear? I decided not to do that because I genuinely cannot choose. I'm going through paralysis, like choice paralysis, thinking about all of the ways that this could go. 1 minute I think, oh, wait, actually, let me just show you the examples and then we can talk about it. Thank you for the hydrate check. I am indeed dehydrated. It was a very stressful start of the stream. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, so again, if the theme is about clothing adapting to the body, the dress code is about clothing using the body to engage with art, right? Fashion being art. What can we expect? The rest of this class, no words, just examples. I just collected a bunch of examples of things that I actually expect and things that I want to see. That's it. Fitting the dress code or fitting the theme. This is just me making predictions and hopefully helping you understand the vibe of the event, right? Congratulations. You made it through the class. Yippee! Have a cookie. There we go. Right. First thing that I'm hoping for and expecting. First thing that I'm hoping for and expecting and I'm really excited about. The possibility of body paint. Think about it. Think about it. It's the naked body. Like the prevalence of the naked body in art, right? And it's also art. It's a type of art that connects to actual traditional painting, but also working with the body as a straight up canvas. What's not to like for body painting as part of the year of the Met Gala theme? We even have an example of Doja Cat when she went to the what was it? Paris Fashion Week. Thank you, Paselli, for adding the references. When she went to the Fashion Week, she painted her body red and then she glued, I don't know, like 2,400 Swarovski crystals to her body, head, everything. It was insane. It was insane. It was a statement. It was a moment. We all loved it. We all lost our minds. She lost her mind when she had to take all of those off. But it was art. Isn't that a YouTuber of D&D? No, Doja Cat, I think she's a rapper? I think she's a rapper. That sounds stupidly uncomfortable. That's because it was. That's because it 100% was. It was very uncomfortable. She posted videos of her taking it off, and wow, that looked horrible. Not horrible as in visually unappealing, but horrible as in girly. I would never want to be you right now. But yeah, I'm expecting body paint. I would be very excited to see body paint as part of the carpet. I like whatever's going on with the blue one on the right. This one is actually not from any fashion carpets. This one is from the website of a body paint professional. I looked for the best body paint that I could find that would get me excited if I was seeing it in the red carpet. And this one has a lot of like bone-like... This one has a lot of bone-like figures. So I thought this one looks great. Awesome. The body artist is Miss Kate Monroe. For anyone who wants to see more, maybe. Deeper into mental illness we go. This is the part where it's fully mental illness. This is the part where you're about to see like the absolute the absolute hyper focusing that can happen in these situations. I really hope to see some body paint. I don't know if we are going to see some body paint, but I really want to see some body paint. Another thing that we can expect is something like experimental. And I put this picture here because I wanted to remind myself to show you the video. I guarantee none of you have seen this shit, and it's one of the best things ever. It's one of the best things sorry. I'm overselling it. I got really excited when this happened. It was a moment. It was iconic. It was viral. It was a thing. This is Bella Hadid. Are they spraying the dress on or washing it off? They're spraying the dress on. This is a dress. Don't get it twisted. This is not body paint. This is not body paint. This is an actual dress. But it was spray painted on her. So I'm going to load that right now. And you guys, I guarantee you have not seen this. Or at least I think you have not seen this. But I hope that you enjoy it. Do you have sound? I doubt you have sound. It's fine. You don't need the sound. Oh, you do have the sound. Cool. Do you have the sound? It looks like you have the sound. What are you making us watch? I'm making you watch one of the most iconic moments of fashion in this decade. I'm making you watch one of the most iconic moments. We did? Not anymore? Really? Wait. Now you should. Now you should have sound. This moment was so hype. I still think about this at least once a year. I don't know where this technology went. We saw it this one time and then we just didn't see it again. I don't know where it went. But this was such an exciting moment. It's not like you need the sound, by the way. It's this very artistic drone, but... it has the problem of removal. Actually, I did not see... unlike with the Doja Cat example, I did not see any video of how this was removed, actually. So maybe. Is the music still there? No, right? That's not paint at all, is it? Is that fabric? Yeah, baby. Yeah, now you see it. This is actually fabric. This is legit fabric. It's fabric that is spray painted on, and I still don't understand it. I still don't get what this technology is. But it is so... it is so fascinating, and it is so interesting. All right, that's really neat. That is so neat! Right? Look at this shit! Hope that it's safe and not asbestos 2.0. Yeah, one has to hope. And this video's not showing it, but after that, she still like walked around with it. She walked around with this. Let me hide it for a second. I'll show you some video of her walking the floor. Because he was... my jaw was on the floor. My jaw was on the fucking floor. You can see it. You can see it here. It reminds me of those shoes from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I do not remember what you're talking about, but look at that! It's a straight up, just a straight up dress. It's flowy fabric. It's fabric that is flowing. Completely separate from her legs. You have no idea how I lost my mind when this happened. You have no idea. It's on top of you, but that is literally on top of you. It doesn't have the give of textile fabric, so it's hard to pull it off without breaking it. I guess that would explain it. I guess that would make sense. That would indeed make sense. But yeah, why did I put this into the slide here? Why do I put this as something that we could possibly expect out of the gala? Because this is both, at the same time, This is very close to body painting. This is very close to that idea of having something that is in direct relation to the body. And also, this is another thing that is related to art in a different way. This is performance. At the end of the day, this was iconic not just because the technology is interesting, but because the performance of it all, the idea of she came into this room naked and she left with a dress on, and in the middle there was the creation of fabric like in front of our eyes. I despite this word in relation to art, at least, what, performance? But there is performance art. If you think about it, like, dancing is a performance art. Acting is a performance art. The art itself, singing is a performance art. The art itself is the performance of the thing, of the act. It's not like a painting is an art, it's a visual art. It's something that you can look at and it's static, it's there, right? Like, you can hold a painting. You cannot hold a song. You can hold a CD that has a song burned into it, but you're not holding the song. The art in that case is a performance, you know? And I think this is something that we may see in the Met Gala this year. I think the concept of performance art is something that we may see. We have seen it in the red carpet as well. We have seen in the Met Gala people who come in with incredibly extravagant three-stage outfits, where the reveal of the stages itself is part of the fashion of it all. It's a performance. I don't know if you see that comment, but they made shoes like that, sprayed and they worked, but you had to break them every time to remove them. With shoes, it sounds like a little bit wasteful, because the idea of shoes is that they have to be a very good barrier between you and the floor. You know, with some refinements, I could see that being the future of clothing. You buy your outfits by weight of material rather than buying pre-made attire. I don't see this as the future, but it was an incredible performance. In the moment, it was an incredible performance. Performance art is artistic way to beg for attention. I wouldn't say that. I think that's a very cynical way of looking at it, but at the end of the day, again, like, music is a performance art, and I think we, as humanoids, we value music so much. I think acting is a performance art. I think in a way you could say what I do is performance art, although I feel like a poser calling it art. I feel like I'm not doing... I'm not being artistic in my intent. This Gold Iron Man nanosuit is already in cinemas. He suddenly makes the armor appear in top of him. Yeah, but that's in the Iron Man case. It's CGI. This is something that happened in real life, in real, like, in front of people's eyes. This is not something that was done with CGI. This is something that happened in reality. I don't think it will be. I can just see ways it could be. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Imagine having to do that for every client. Woof. I mean, Leo, you say that, but this took 3 minutes. This took 3 minutes in real life. A garment takes way longer than that to make. So, technically, it was a lot faster. But yeah, performance art is what this slide is here for. And also, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the Bella Hadid spray-painted dress, because you probably wouldn't have seen it anyways. And I wanted you to have this iconic piece of fashion history in your noggins. You have now learned something. Okay, another thing we can expect. Fashion that references art as a concept, traditional art as a concept. I said that wrong. Fashion that references traditional art, traditional painting as a concept. So, like, there's this entire collection by Viktor and Rolf. I only chose one of the dresses, my favorite one, but they have an entire collection. This one right here. Sorry, let me grab my pointer. This one right here. This is one of an entire collection, and the entire collection is so goddamn cool. If you want to see more, ask about it, and I'll show you the Victor and Rolf Fall Winter collection of 2015. So cool. But yeah, the one thing that I can really expect is this idea of like fashion that references traditional art styles, art mediums. So maybe fashion that references comic books, fashion that references like brush strokes, not necessarily a specific brush stroke, just like brush strokes. Fashion that references sculpture, you know? The idea that if fashion is art, fashion can reference art as a concept itself. Very interested in that. Very interested in seeing if we're gonna see any of these archival pieces. I hope we see some archival pieces from this collection so bad. Don't know if we will, but I really hope. Art as fashion as art. Exactly. Exactly cool. It's so cool. Show us more after the gala, if not today or before, I guess, if you want to do a pre-game show. I think we'll see. We'll see how the time is. As if you need to ask, please show us. I don't know. Maybe people aren't that interested, but I hope so. So yeah, fashion that references art as a medium. Then we're gonna go a little bit smaller. This is a very blanket statement. We're gonna be a little bit smaller. Another thing that I expect is fashion that references specific visual art movements, right? So like you have this collection by Yves Saint Laurent, who work with Bauhaus, which is an art movement. Moschino did this cubism? Yeah, this cubism inspired collection as well. Like, again, I chose one outfit of each of these, but each of these had a lot more outfits because art movements have a lot of space to be creative and play around with. And of course, Moschino also did pop art collection. My favorite of all of the pop art will always be the Campbell soup. I don't know why. Fucking love the Campbell soup as a pop art representative. If you don't know much about art history, this may be a little bit like confusing. But what you have to trust, I assume you know enough, because these are very well-known movements. I chose movements that I thought would be very well-known. If you don't know enough, like each one of these is very much representing and very much taking cues from very traditional painting, visual art movements that happened in different moments in different places. Like Bauhaus was, I'm pretty sure, a European art movement, while pop art was very much an American, North American art movement. Bauhaus happened significantly earlier in art history than pop art, than Cubism, etc. It is absolutely confusing. I'm sure you have heard of Cubism, at least. I'm sure you have heard of pop art, at least. Bauhaus might be a little bit less well known. I personally really like Bauhaus as an art movement, but you know, not everyone studied art history. I did. A little. Bauhaus is Hololive now in the Met Gala too? No, Bauhaus as in... Oh, what did it mean? Bauhaus. Because it's... Was it German? Don't remember. Once again, one of my favorite things is listening to people yap about what they enjoy. I don't know that I'm yapping in an educational enough manner. I wasn't aware it was a movement. I always just thought it was a few works by the same person. Oh, the pop art or Bauhaus? Pop art was like initially just Andy Warhol, but with most art movements, there are people that play around with it in the same time frame. They just don't become as well known. But with most art movements, like once one person does it, people will be inspired to try it out for themselves, and eventually they might get well known when they change it up enough to be their own distinct style. Tends to happen that way. Modernly tends to happen that way. In the past, it definitely was more of a thing of many people sharing the same art movement. You might recognize that with things like expressionism or impressionism, or you might not recognize anything that I'm saying at all, and I'm just shoving words at you. But like when you talk about impressionism, there's definitely a lot of names that would come to mind for someone who knows art history. They wouldn't think of one person in a way of in the way that pop art would make you think specifically of Andy Warhol. So yeah, as you get more modern in art movements, it is more easy to sort of only have one reference. But the movements like more in the past, like Bauhaus, they weren't just one person, it was like a whole movement. A lot of painters who would get into the movement and do sort of like the similar art style. In fact, there would be... Maybe I should do a little bit of a class on art history. Maybe not, no one cares. But there would be like manifestos of what the art movement was for and what the standards were and what the elements were. And if you diverted too much from the manifesto, you were not part of the movement, because like that was the whole thing of a movement, right? It had this sort of like, not rules, but like elements. Sure, I have whistles nervously. Trust that all of these are different art movements. You showed us a bunch of styles. You showed us a really cool piece of conceptual tech, and you're currently educating us on artistic movements. I'm barely educating in artistic movements. I have the whole part of the stream that I missed to catch up on, but so far it's educational. Skip the first 40 minutes. I'm a bit confused. So furries are an art movement because they create forces of, or they don't count. They wouldn't count for a lot of people, but for a lot of people it would. Art is subjective. There is no manifesto, but you can tell when something is a furry art and when something isn't. And I think that that opens the door for it to be considered a movement. I don't think I would personally consider it a movement, because I think it's less a movement, more a style. The thing about art movements is that they happened in a specific time period, right? Art movements have like a start and an end date. Vague start date, vague end date. But we call it a movement precisely because there were a lot of artists engaging in it. In a way that furry is just a type of art that is going to continue being ever present from here on out. Just like I wouldn't call anime an art movement, because it started and it's never gonna fucking end. You know what I mean? Nowadays, when you do cubism, you are referencing a very specific period of time, you know? Thank you for the hydrate check. I absolutely won't skip it. What if something funny happened, like you being super late? No, you really want to skip it? Freaking anime is never gonna end. That's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't call it a movement anymore, because it's kind of like an ever-present part of the art scope nowadays, you know? A fad or a trend that takes off super big. That's a way to explain it. Furry is a type of art? I would say so. Cosplay is an anime art movement. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying, and I see your point. I think cosplay is more of a movement than anime, if that makes sense. Like, the star might be a movement, but 30 years later, it's not a movement anymore. It's just a common thing. Exactly! You're getting it. So, anyways, one thing that I think we can expect is definitely, like, pieces or outfits that reference art movements. Personally hoping for Art Nouveau, because it's one of my favorite art movements, or... Ooh! I forgot the name. Oh, Art Nouveau and frick, the one from the 20s. If anyone knows it, say it. But I don't know. Another thing that I think we can expect, and that I'm actually putting on my fucking bingo board, is references to specific. Like, I'm going smaller and smaller, right? I started with like references to traditional art as a concept. Then I moved on to references to art movements. Now I'm moving on to references to specific painters or specific pieces. Specific art pieces or specific painters. This one is a Dior coat that is very clearly a reference to The Wave. We all know The Wave, right? No? I should have prepared the PowerPoint presentation with pieces of art. I think, okay, next year my PowerPoint presentation is gonna have to include the references themselves if something is a reference. The Wave, the fuck is that? You don't know The Wave? The one on the right is totally alien, but I'm interested. It's not! And I'm gonna point it out and you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. It was my wallpaper once upon a time. Okay. I know the Japanese name only. Okay, so you know it. I don't know the Japanese name, but you know it. First one is very obvious. The middle one, not so much. The middle one is a reference to Degas, who is an impressionist painter. He painted a bunch of pictures of ballerinas, especially ballerinas in yellow dresses. And if you look at this right here, that's a ballerina, that's a ballerina, that's a ballerina. So like the frills of this dress, the tulle, is the tulle of the dress of the ballerina in the painting. Same here at the back there, that's a ballerina. And this is very much a representation, a reference to Degas, who was a specific impressionist painter. Psychic Flora, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome. Oh, it's the Scream. Yes. You noticed it. I'm very excited about that one. This one is a drag queen, and she was in RuPaul's Drag Race. And when she came out with this specific dress, I gagged. I was so shooketh. Because this is The Scream, another impressionist painting that you have probably heard of, and if you Google it, you will know it. You will know it. You know The Scream. But this is entirely made with rhinestones. The entirety of this dress is rhinestones, but it is The Scream. Oh. Art. I'm telling you, fashion is so exciting when it's like done by people who care, who actually care. Rice? No, rhinestones. Piedritas brillantes. Rhinestones. I deny the existence of The Wave. I approve original name only, but you haven't said it and I don't know it. That's really cool. Bringing the elements of the outfits in the painting into physical reality. I know, right? Isn't that so fucking cool? Like this right here, this dress turning into the frill of the actual dress is so cool. So cool. Not paying attention to the world is really coming back to bite me in the ass. Google the Scream right now. Google The Scream painting. You're going to know it. I'm so sure. I am so sure you're going to know it. Maybe as a complimentary thing, right now, after this, I just go on Google and I start showing you all the paintings that I've referenced. Cosplay counts as fashion. I think it doesn't personally, just because when you're cosplaying, you are copying someone else's design and you're not actually doing your own creative take on the sign. However, I will say there is some cosplay that I would count as fashion, which is when they reinterpret the character, or people who cosplay things like Pokemon, where they have to design how they would translate that Pokemon into like fashion. Like they have to look at a Pokemon, which is a creature, and adapted to the human anatomy through fabric. And I would count that as fashion. I would count that as fashion, for sure. If nothing else, you've probably seen it in half a dozen old cartoons. Exactly, you have definitely seen it. Okay, I've seen it before, probably in a meme or something. Yeah, you definitely have seen it, be it memes or cartoons or something. Cosplay is bringing a character to life. Yeah, but if you're just copying what someone else designed, I don't think you're engaging in fashion, you know? In fashion. In fashion. I love how you wrote it, Retouch. I read that, my brain went, fashion. The Serafuku comes from the old marine uniforms. I don't know what the Serafuku is. I don't know Japanese. I'd call it fashion when you have to translate something that doesn't really have a proper 3D form into something 3D. Some things can only exist in 2D. I mean, yeah. But I think if you're just translating it one-to-one, you're not really engaging in fashion, in my opinion, just because you're like just copying it straight, personally. But that might be an elitist take. Maybe I should be humbled by some other fashion enthusiasts. Anyways, now that I've taken it to the nichest it can go, from fashion adapting, referencing art as a concept, to fashion referencing art movements, to fashion referencing specific painters or specific paintings, I'm gonna zoom it out, and I'm gonna say that another thing that I expect is fashion referencing entire art time periods. So things like Baroque or Rococo or the Renaissance. Now you might say, what is the difference between this and an art movement? The difference is an art movement was something that had, like, as I said before, specific start, specific end, and it was like visual art movement. You had painters joining, doing their manifestos, but rarely you have movements that encompassed many different disciplines, not just painting, maybe painting and architecture, but actually a lot more. While Baroque, Rococo, Renaissance, there's this entire periods of history where the art was being adapted to everything. You did a building, you were making it in the, like, with the style of the Renaissance, like, standards at the time. You did a piece of furniture, the Renaissance standards of art were adapting it. You did clothes, again, you did paintings, you did sculpture. It was like all encompassing. So things like Baroque, things like again, Baroque, Rococo, the Renaissance, things like Victorian, things like fuck it, Edwardian, fashion and buildings and furniture and music, all of it was encompassed. Things like specific periods of Japanese history, they had their own styles, right? Like, I'm a big fan of hanfus, which is a traditional Chinese dress type. But for the life of me, I can never show my family, my friends, whoever, my specific hanfus that I like, because hanfus are so significantly different depending on the dynasty. Because again, there are moments in history and geography that have such strong artistic sort of like standards that encompass everything that gets created in it. There's something appealing about a time period when everything shares a clear aesthetic. The clothing matches the building, matches the music, matches the painting, matches the sculptures. Exactly. Everything clicks together for a little while. And that's what I'm talking about here. That is the kind of thing that I'm also talking about referencing. Thank you for putting into words in a better way that I could. When everything shares a clear aesthetic, it's like much more than just a movement. It's like, it's the zeitgeist of the period. So I think we're gonna see a lot of that. Then let's move on to the next thing, which is things that are sculpted to the body. Things that are not body paint, but they kind of, sort of could be. Things that are so sculpted tight that you know, they're practically the body itself. I put this in here, which you may remember if you saw the Met Gala for 2024 with me, because I remember how I gasped at it. You may remember how I gasped at it too. This is so sculpted to her body. I have no idea how they got her out of it. Oh yeah, the Sun Lady. Yeah, you remember. Or things like this. Things like this are also probably going to make a showcase. I don't think this piece specifically is going to make a showcase because Zendaya already wore something very similar to one of her red carpets, and I don't think anyone wants to be compared to Zendaya. I don't think anyone wants to go there. So I don't think anyone's gonna wear this specific piece, but things of this nature. I expect things that are like super sculpted to be more Thai skin than Thai skin. With that definition, AI cannot count as art. I don't count AI as art, period. That's it. Plaster cast fashion. Plaster cast fashion. Exactly. That depends if we accept the notion that humans can't just create from nothing any idea and we just transform ideas. How is AI different than us? I'm not gonna get into that right now, but Lytia, I do not... Okay, I'm not gonna get into that right now, but I'll tell you the very, very blanket statement of AI doesn't understand. We learn, we process, and we understand what we're doing. AI literally, by definition, doesn't understand. It has no understanding. So it's not transforming anything with any sort of intent. But we're not gonna talk about it now, okay? The point is, fuck AI. Cannot wait until it crashes and burns. Hopefully. But anyways, that's another thing that I expect. And the next thing that I expect is things that have to do with the anatomical body, as we saw on the theme. Hydrate, thank you. Things that have to do with the anatomy of the body, as we saw on the theme. I had these two examples that have already shown up in different red carpets that I think, obviously, they're not gonna show up as is, because no one is gonna just use the second thing. Like, no one is gonna use these things again when they are so recent. But this is a neck piece that was designed to look like the lungs of a person. And this was created on 2021. I wonder, was there anything in 2021 that had to do with lungs and breathing that could make this a very important piece of art at the time? You know, gold and rhinestone lungs. Lungs being one of the most valuable things that you could have. 2021. And this is one of these moments when I'm trying to make people understand why fashion can be so significant to some of us, because it's just art, man. It's art. That second picture looks so cool. I know, right? This is the spine dress. It was created by Roberto Cavalli in the 2000s. Zendaya used it not in the 2000s. She used it very recently, and I love this. I would like to see things that are designed around the idea of showcasing a spine. I don't know if we're gonna see anything like it, but I really, really want something like it. But I do expect at least one or two people to show up with things that have to do with the anatomical body. That part of the theme is so ripe for playing around with and being creative with. I genuinely cannot imagine that no one would take advantage of it as a theme. You know, like, I have to believe that someone will want to bring imagery that has to do with our bones or our organs. Something like that. There has to be at least one. Isn't the one at the right a total letdown last year? You mean Zendaya? No, she was great. I loved her last year. I don't remember anything special in 2021. Are you sure? Are you sure? Something that maybe starts with the letters pan and ends with the letter demic? It's like a cross between a spine, a centipede, and a scorpion. Yeah, it's really cool. Very spine-like to me, though. I remember watching once jewelry that connected to your bloodstream and had it flowing through it. What? You need to send me the link for that if you find it. There was also an architect that made stuff based on bone structure. Architecture, I don't know much about, but I'm excited. 2020, yes, but not 2021. Wrong year. It lasted like 2 years, bro. What are you on about? The whole thing lasted like 2 years. It wasn't done in one. Okay, so the next slide is possibly the last one. I think this is the last one. The last thing that I expect is straight up nudity. Straight up people barely covering themselves up, but being as naked as possibly you can be. Because of that first theme, because of that first category of the theme of like the body, the naked body ever present, sorry, the body present, ever present in art, both naked and clothed, both classical and contemporary. Like, the idea that bodies are one of the things that we have been representing since the very beginning of art, and therefore bodies themselves being intrinsically related to art. I expect that to be a reason for some designers to create the next wow factor nude illusion. Don't know at this point what else you can do with nude illusions that hasn't been done before, because we've had the most impactful ones already. I don't think anyone was ever gonna top Rihanna's, for example. But I do expect that to be a possibility of something we can see. Dress like SSR from Gacha Games. If you want to call it that. This is why I think Egyptian clothes can be also a direction to take in the Met Gala. They are way nuder, more nude than the Greek-inspired dresses. And I think it's definitely a possibility. I think we could very much be seeing some transparent linen Egyptian-style dresses. And I would be excited for it. I would be excited. Fig leaf dress, maybe like a full dress, I mean, like scale mail, but made of leaves. I think I would like that because it would, again, take us back to that, like, beginning of art, like, one of the earliest depictions of art is art in nature. And it's very, like, religiously important, the idea of, like, fig leaves, specifically fig leaves, show up in a lot of, Catholic art. So yeah, I could see that happening. I think that's the last slide. Yeah, that was the last slide. So thank you for nothing, PowerPoint. You've been an absolute nightmare. I hated working with you. But that was the class! And I'm so sorry that it took us so long. I am so sorry that it took us so long. Let me... Let me see if I can just start throwing... Can I start just throwing references at the wall and show you? Thank you, Ollie, for putting that together. Thank you for actually caring enough to watch it. Thank you for caring enough, honestly. Let me see if this works. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that it's gonna work, but I want to try. Aww. It doesn't. God damn it! I was really hoping that I was gonna be able to quickly... I was really hoping that I was gonna be able to really quickly showcase some pieces of art without having to save them into my computer, but it's not working that way. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. You can't. You can't. You can't make the snake go rainbow. Why are you hammering yourself? Why are you hammering your own hand? Why? Stop doing that. Why is the Met Gala still going to be members only? For two reasons. One, I do have to do some member-only content. Otherwise, I'm scamming people out of their money. In my own heart, I need to do some members content. Second, the members is a smaller space where it's like I can do the more experimental stuff. I can do the stuff that makes me more uncomfortable. Like reaction content does make me more uncomfortable. I don't feel the best at doing reaction content. I get really in my head about like the balance between speaking and hearing, and like my focus is all over the place. So I keep that in members content. It's also beneficial to make it members because it is something that if I'm showing the screen, which I'm not entirely sure if I will or not, still I have to decide that based on what I did in previous years. If I'm showing the screen, it's a risk. The thing could get taken down. It could be a problem for my channel. So I'd rather keep it to like the closer knit community that will understand if there's issues and not put it publicly out there. Ejemplo, Haru Urana es rosa porque si el caballo real usa una máscara rosa y su ropa es un atuendo deportivo con raspones y curitas porque no deja de entrenar y nunca se rinde, ¿tiene nombre ese arte? I mean, that's character design. That's just character design, isn't it? But Ellie, you know better. I never know better. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's no such thing as coming as you silly lamia. I don't know. I just want to make sure that people are not, you know, regretful when they spend memberships because, like, yeah. Anyways, the Scream. As I said, you probably have heard about it. The Scream. Then what else? The gas. We are going to show you the gas. The gas painted a lot of yellow ballerinas. So I'm gonna show you really quickly a couple of examples. For that one dress, right? We have this kind of artworks. Oh, come on. Are you really going to put fucking watermarks on a Degas painting? It's not yours. This one has watermarks, which is kind of shit, but it's... I think that's egregious. I think that's ridiculous. How are you gonna put watermarks on a classical painting? For crying out loud. As I was saying, Degas was really into painting ballerinas, especially with yellow dresses for some reason. So when I show you that the dress, this is what I meant, like clothes that reference specific artists or specific paintings. In this case, it's not a specific painting, but it's more like it's what the guy did. You know? Te saltaste la pregunta principal, creo. Lo pongo en español porque no sabía expresarlo en inglés. ¿Qué clase de arte serían los vestidos de Uma Musume? Se convierten en caballos reales en centauros y su ropa se basa en su personalidad de máscara, etcétera, Harurera. Yo creo que eso simplemente lo llamaría... es parte del diseño de personaje. Es parte de adaptar la personalidad y la historia de esa persona o ese personaje en una forma visual. So, I think it would be character design. Take it to the opposite end. Fig leaves are usually used to skirt around nudity by as narrow a line as possible, so make it full outfit from them. Oh, Oh, that's an interesting take on it. I see. You can put watermarks on anything. Yeah, but it shouldn't go there. You shouldn't. We need to design a LED watermark to post LED art. I technically have one. Sheriff Pumpkin, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome. Hello. Maybe yellow was easier to get at the time. He has painted in other colors. He just really liked the yellow ballerinas. I think he just appreciated yellow in general. I think so. Probably. So anyways, that's on the gas part. What else did I show? I showed the wave. Which I insist you probably have seen, even though you maybe don't recognize it immediately, but you probably have seen the wave. It's this one. You probably had seen it. Oh, thank you for the not supers. Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Thank you for the gift. Thank you, Nix. What would a yellow LED be? Inexistent. I don't like yellow. It's not that I don't like yellow, but it's like, it's a color that I really don't like working with. So it would be gold better than yellow. I'd rather have gold better than yellow. Thank you for the gift. Thank you. Retouch, stop dodging. Retouch can't help it. It's his nature. I spend my money very wisely and only on the highest quality stuff. Well, thank you. Thank you. It means the world to me. Both of you, thank you so much. It means... You have no idea how much it means to me. It really does. It's basically a Japanese Mona Lisa. Yeah. Oh my god, thank you so much. Thank you for the membership gifted. Thank you. I should be saying welcomes. Welcome to the membership, Kiktuman. I hope that you enjoy it. Welcome to the membership, Misanthropo. Welcome. Hi, hello. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Fabricio Ska, for the membership. Sorry, welcome to the membership. That's what I meant. Welcome to the membership, Fabricio Ska. Welcome to the membership, The Real Key. Welcome to the membership, Mochizuki Shin. Welcome to the membership, Trashman Len. Welcome to the membership, Federico Giunta. Welcome to the membership, Big... Long 12. Welcome to the memberships. That's certainly a name. But thank you so much. Thank you for the super, not supers. Oh my god, get your words together. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you. Ellie will catch a membership before Retouch does. Honestly, probably. Wait a sec, I spent enough on Nika last week. I think I can redeem Google Play money to use in super. Well, thank you. Federico Yunta te vio por última vez en 2023. Yo ese pibe lo conozco. Sí, me parece que lo recuerdo como amigo de Leo. Pero los memberships actúan en formas... They act in mysterious ways. Alright, what else? Bauhaus. Let me show you some Bauhaus, which I actually, like, legitimately was obsessed with for a moment. When I discovered Bauhaus, I was very into... I was very into the movement. Bauhaus as a movement, a lot of people are only familiar with like one specific type of Bauhaus art, which is, oh, let me see if I find that one specific. Oh, I'm finding compilations. I'm finding like images that have more than just that one, and I want to show you that one because it's the one that you're mostly familiar with, probably. Okay, this one. So, Bauhaus is an art movement that was based around... Oh my god, thank you for this. Thank you for the gifted again. Thank you. Welcome, Kuran. 5453. Welcome to the membership. Welcome. Now even more people can enjoy the greatness of the Met Gala stream. Maybe some of them do. This last membership has been sponsored by my bad luck on this 3.5 DK anniversary pulse. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry. Really sorry to hear that. Bauhaus in the middle of our street. Bauhaus. And you technically could, because you could have a Bauhaus building. Bauhaus as a movement did actually get like incorporated into architecture. Architecture that people nowadays may think is something else was actually, in the moment, Bauhaus. Bauhaus is a movement that was all about efficiency. So it was about, like, how to explain this from what I remember for when I studied art. Because this is all from memory, and I may be remembering wrong. Bauhaus was all about efficiency. You can make art with just the 3 primary colors, black and white, right? Initially, the entire point of Bauhaus was you can arrange the most basic of elements and make something new and make something exciting and make something interesting. So you're gonna take lines and line weight, right? Line weight being how thick a line is. You're gonna take lines and line weight. You're gonna take the 3 primary colors. You're gonna take geometric shapes. And just those elements, ordered differently, organized differently in the space, can make a whole new different thing. Efficiency. And then with buildings, it was a thing where you can take geometric shapes, again, organize them differently, make a whole new thing. And because a lot of this was organized around efficiency, they started adding extra windows where it wasn't normal to have them. I think Bauhaus was a turning point in you wanted the most amount of possible light. This again from what I remember, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but you wanted the most amount of natural light to come into the building so that you could spend less on lighting the place up. If I remember correctly, that was one of like the main elements of Bauhaus architecture. Biologically speaking, the eye recognizes yellow as a very light green, but when I say yellow, you know what I'm talking about. So that's what we mean. Now, this is what people think of when they think of Bauhaus. They think of this specific like type of painting, but genuinely Bauhaus is so much more than that, and I'm really sad that it was relegated to this into public consciousness. This is Bauhaus. This right here is Bauhaus. Bauhaus furniture. Again, straight lines. No fancy, like no fancy things. It's just straight lines, geometric shapes, rectangles, and primary colors, black and white. It created such a strong aesthetic, such a strong minimalistic, like no bullshit, just, oh, love it. I genuinely love it, and I cannot explain why. Look at this. Look at this. Completely different from the last one. Look at this. Completely different from the last one. The colors are a bit washed out. This one might be modern, actually. I don't think this one is from the actual movement of Bauhaus, because the colors are a bit too washed out. But still, you know. What else do we have that I really like? Look at this one. Look at this. Again, not even 3 colors, 2 colors. Red and yellow, done. Red, yellow, black and white, done. I genuinely really feel like a very specific way about Bauhaus art. It really, look at this one. This one is another one. Again, just the 3 colors, geometric shapes, and black and white. And yet, everything feels so different. To me, everything just feels so different. So different from each other. When they were using, like, restricting the elements they used to such a degree. There's this fucking thing, which I think is fantastic. What is this? A basket? A rolling basket? A box? Like storage space, I guess? I count more than 10 colors there? No, that was red, yellow, black and white. And black and white are not colors, they're values. Minimalistasio geometriciano. AKA Bauhaus. Clean lines, pure colors, and complexity. I can see the appeal. I'm pretty sure if I pick a pixel, tell me a color, and the one had more than 20 hex colors. But 20 hex colors, like, color doesn't mean hex color, man. When I say color, it doesn't mean hex, it means color. You have, like, red, yellow, and blue, and that's it. Look at this example. Which, again, the colors are a bit washed out, but look at this example. Once more, you have just 4 colors in this case, because they're using blue in 2 different, very different tones. You have red, blue, light blue, yellow. And then just black and white, geometric shapes, lines. And so different, so different. Sorry, we're gonna stop at Bauhaus for a second because I'm relieving my love for it. I'm reliving my love for Bauhaus. I'm remembering now why it was my first love. I wouldn't say my first love. Maybe my first love was Art Nouveau. I really do love Art Nouveau. But Bauhaus was one of my biggest loves in art history. For sure. Okay, time to show the actual logo of Bauhaus, like the logo of the manifesto. When I think of the manifesto of Bauhaus, I think of this. I think this was the cover of the manifesto, possibly. Maybe I'm wrong. 1923. 1923, baby. And then look at this. This is an example guide. Mwah! Beautiful. Love Bauhaus. I hope we see Bauhaus on the red carpet. I don't know that we will. I don't know that we will, but I hope so. This one's messing with my brain. It tickles my brain in a very pleasant way. There was a brief time in early 3D graphics when the style sort of researched as a matter of necessity due to tech limitations. Now you'll see some projects picking it up as a stylistic choice. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. It was about limitation, right? It was about, we are going to limit ourselves to just these 3 colors, geometric shapes, basic geometric shapes, and line weight. And the 2 values. And the funny thing is, like, it was the 2 values. It was black or white. It wasn't like grays. It wasn't like gradients. It was black or white. 2 values, 3 colors. That's it. Playing Tetris is now Baba art? What do you mean? It's curious to me that you love Baba art when you criticize so much robots for having circles and squares. I don't? What? I think you're getting very confused about the things I criticize and for what reasons. If it gives the eyes something to do, it's a good example of constraints breeding creativity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hydrocheck, thank you! Okay, I guess we're moving to Cubism now. Although I don't feel ready to let go of Bauhaus, but... Cubism! Oh no, I don't think we're moving to Cubism. Sorry. Oh, okay, we're moving to Cubism, but just for a little bit because it's so infested with AI pieces. With AI graphics that I am struggling to find real paintings. I don't know why. There's so much fucking AI cubism. Ugh. Anyway, so Cubism. Cubism was about... Cubism was about deconstructing the figure and not necessarily respecting the way three-dimensional space works. If you have 2 eyes in the painting, even if both of them are facing forward while the profile of the face is facing to the side, you are still understanding that that's a face, and you are still understanding the expression of that face. So it was about deconstructing the subject into different elements and pasting them together, not in a way that makes three-dimensional sense, but in a way that just expresses, you know? Isn't Picasso a famous cubist? If yes, look for Picasso art. Yeah, Picasso is like the most famous. But I hope y'all can understand what I mean. I'm pretty sure those 2 are Picassos. I hope you understand what I'm saying when I say this, you know? There are some cute things in Cubism. I do like Cubism. Not my favorite, but... Pretty sure you showed a Bauhaus with gradient and shadows and not using plain white. One of them. Yeah, I showed one of them that may not have been from the era. I think Ellie's deal was that she has a hard time with doing inorganic shapes herself. Yeah, I struggle with drawing inorganic shapes myself. I could never be a Bauhaus artist. and that's part of why I like it so much, I think. Of course it is. Cubism is a bush and AI is a stick bug, warping the image without making it indecipherable. Yeah, I understand why. Let's look for Picasso. And look for some specific Picasso pieces. I think this one is well known. Which one is the most well known? Gotta be honest, Picasso's not... Sorry, Cubism is just not my specific favorite. But if you remember the Moschino that I found, that I showed before, if you remember the Moschino, that was... You may understand now the vibe I was showing. You have these vibrant colors. You have these complete breakings of pattern. You have this like things that don't quite match the shape that they should, but that's like the point of it. So that's where Cubism lives. And that's Cubism. We're done with Cubism. I can never be a Bauhaus artist. Me, have you tried holding shift while you draw the line? It's about so much more than that, though. It's about so much more. Then there's pop art. I don't feel like showing pop art. Let's end with Art Nouveau. Art Nouveau is possibly my actual favorite art movement ever. I'm gonna show some Art Nouveau, and you're going to see what I mean. Because, my god, is it gorgeous. You have seen Art Nouveau before. I guarantee you have seen Art Nouveau. You maybe didn't know it, but you have seen it. Because I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who loves it. I think it's possible that I'll end up inadvertently showcasing some AI here. Unfortunately. I'm gonna have to be very careful, but I probably will end up finding AI. Because this is another style that... I mean, styles that are very strongly defined, I think, is easy for clunkers to take. My god, Art Nouveau is so pretty! So pretty. Art Nouveau had a lot of... It concerned itself with its relation to nature. Art Deco! That's the other one that I was trying to come up with that I couldn't remember. Art Nouveau was concerned with the relationship to nature, was concerned with this flowing organic lines and like figures against pastel color backgrounds, a lot of curves, a lot of gentle curves. There's a lot of like mysticism to me in Art Nouveau as an aesthetic. Here's the good stuff. I actually know this. Yeah, you do. Oh, unless you were talking about cubism. Most cubist art isn't really my thing either. There's just a few pieces that hit the exact right mark on though. I do see that. Yeah, I do think that's happened. That's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I appreciate the simpler stuff too, but that's kind of thing is a whole other level. Art Nouveau. El dibujito que sale en las tarjetas de Día de la Madre y los taquitos de bebé. Yeah, there's a lot of Art Nouveau, honestly. Ellie with the hard C. I said it. I said it. Don't put robots and AI together. Robots are way better than AI. We'll see. We'll see. That was just a really good period for art. I was talking about this and Art Deco for that matter. They kind of blur at the edges in my mind though. They do for a lot of people. But the way that you think about it, if you want to differentiate them, is Art Nouveau is about curves, organic shapes, and natural mystical feelings, wispiness. This is Art Nouveau. This is also Art Nouveau. Let me look for that building that I was seeing not a second ago. Where is it? This is Art Nouveau. So as you can see, there's a lot of like natural colors, blue, green, yellow, like sunlight, water, and plants, you know? There's a lot of organic curves. There's a lot of like, there's an interest in bugs and their wings, that transparency, translucency that bug wings have, those organic shapes that nature has that are so intricately interconnected. Like all of these very much feel like you're seeing branches, like you're seeing vines, like you're seeing leaves, like you're seeing, you know, the pattern inside of a leaf, like you're seeing the pattern inside of an insect's wing. Butterflies have all these markings that are like cells within shapes. I don't know how to explain it other than it's like complex organic shapes. And it's so pretty to me. Like, I cannot for the life of me choose an artistic movement that would matter to me more than Art Nouveau. Second is Bauhaus, but Art Nouveau was my first love in art history, and I don't think anything will ever take it out. Beautiful. Look at this one. I mean, come on. Right? And look at this door. No. No, it looked prettier before. I wonder if I could still find the Art Nouveau piece that I made when I was studying art history. I doubt it was good. I doubt it was any good. Oh, these ones are classics. This one you might have seen before. I think it's quite classic. What style is Gustav Klimt? I think Impressionist? Let me see what Google says. I fully expect someone to do a reference to The Kiss from Klimt. Symbolist. But he did help define Art Nouveau. So apparently his movement was called Symbolist, but he ushered in Art Nouveau as a style. Entra un chorro a tu casa a robar y te queda mirando la puerta de lo linda que es. Almost reminds me of magic or fantasy. Yes, yes, exactly. We have it like that in the metro station of Bellas Artes. Yeah, it's everywhere in the, well, it's not everywhere, but a lot of it was maintained because, I mean, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I think the reason I blame a bit is because we basically transitioned from Nouveau straight into Deco. Yeah, we definitely moved from Nouveau into Deco. But the thing is that they are so different. Because when you look at Art Nouveau, as I was saying, there's a lot of like organic shapes, like vines, like insect wings. There's a lot of curves. There's a lot of stuff like that. And when you look at Art Deco, there's a lot of points. There's a lot of triangles. There's a lot of rectangles. There's a lot of straight lines. And importantly, there's a lot of... It's very easy to understand why. But where the interconnected patterns of Art Deco meet, it's more geometric than organic. I'm gonna grab a couple of examples and see if that makes sense when you see it. Like, we've seen Art Nouveau for a minute. This is Art Deco. It also has a lot of curves, but they don't interconnect and then separate and then interconnect and then separate. It's all like, it's all very geometric. It's all very ordered. It's all very organized, you know? Like when you see these things, it almost feels like it was born to be a pattern. It almost feels like it was born to be repeated over space, that you could repeat it eternally. and it would still be the same thing. To me, they are easy to they're easy to differentiate because one of them feels more like it's trying to reference nature, and the other one is trying to reference human built things like engineering. You know what I mean? Isn't that one you mentioned the one they use for Elfen Lied? Maybe? If you look at the opening for Elfen Lied, that's full of art inspired on all of the art pieces. I gotta be honest, I don't remember Elfen Lied all that much. 3 minutes? Yeah, we really should get going. I think I explained most of the art styles that I mentioned today anyways. What you're saying makes sense. I'm just so accustomed to seeing them together. Usually Nouveau paintings in deco buildings that they feel like one package deal. Yeah, they are normally paired together. Is that Bioshock? Bioshock is extremely art deco. Yeah. Bioshock is very art deco. This is also art deco. This is also art deco. Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. This one has 8 different patterns. So yeah, when I think of Art Deco, I think of very straight lines. And when I think of Art Nouveau, I think of very curved lines. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is the way that I think of them. There are still curves. Don't get me wrong, there are still curves, but they are more predictable. Predictable? Does that make sense? Like Art Deco feels like the shapes are predictable. They are comfortably geometric and comfortably replicatable over space, and Art Nouveau feels organic and messy and unpredictable. And that was the art class. Suddenly we had a fashion class and an art class. I hope that you enjoy it. We're gonna stop it there. We're gonna stop it there for today. That was a lot of showing you stuff, and now you should be prepared for the Met Gala. Now you should be prepared for the Met Gala! I ended up not doing any bingo or any drawing or anything at all, but you know what? We got an art history mini class. And maybe that can compensate for that. People as part of nature versus people as a thing apart from nature. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That is totally a good way to put it. The opening is really famous in the intro of the first episode. Just in case, don't try to search and show the OP on stream. It has a bit of nudity. I can watch it now that I'm not showing it to you, and I can see if I can recognize any specific pieces. Oh, this is just the theme song. It's not the actual thing. Oh yeah, the first image I'm seeing in the opening is absolutely the kiss. Absolutely, that's a reference to the kiss for sure. The Kiss by Klimt. They all discovered all the geometries possible for 2D, but don't think they realized. What, with the Art Deco? With the Art Deco? Save that image and DM it to me later. Oh no! Which one? Which one? Point me and I'll tell you. Okay, it seems like most of this opening is in, like, all of it based on Klimt. And the kiss, specifically. Like, I think the Elfen Lied opening is all based on the Klimt, the kiss. They are hard curves. They look mechanical. They almost remind me of the patterns I see when I rub my eyes. Really? We've been telling you for years now to do this kind of streams about your interests. That was great. It was. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it. The class was fun and really interesting. Honestly, it makes me want to do some research myself, and I encourage it. It will be a little bit harder nowadays with the amount of AI slop and trash there is, but trusted sources, I think Wikipedia is standing strong in correcting AI bullshit. There's probably websites for specific art movements that are good references, but I genuinely really like art history as a topic. And I think it's quite fascinating, and I think it allows you to like look at the world and see influences, and like our movements also have to do with the things that were happening at the time, so it also has a lot of historical weight. Like, I don't know, when I think of Art Nouveau, I think of Absinthe, for example, and I don't know if they are related or if it's just that Absinthe used to be heavily marketed with Art Nouveau images. And I don't know, I think that's interesting. They're all that guy's pieces? Yeah, I think all of the opening is all Klimt. Don't worry about it, Ellie. I can just snip it from the video later and reverse image search it. Oh, good point, good point, good point. Ellie's showing us she's way smarter than she pretends to be. I wouldn't say smarter. I have my interests that I've definitely, like... Okay, so I wouldn't say smarter. I would say I know more about this than you, but you know more about X thing than me. You know? You know more about other things than me. I think only one of all the images in the full opening is not for Klimt. You gotta hear about things from somewhere to develop an interest in them, and it's always better to hear about them from someone who actually cares about the subject. And that's honestly, that's what I hope people take away. It's like, maybe you didn't come out as like a fashionista. Maybe you didn't come out of this as a art history lover. But maybe one thing piqued your interest, and maybe you see why other people would be into it. Or maybe you want to research Art Nouveau, and maybe you won't be an art history fan, but maybe you'll be really into Art Nouveau specifically. And I think it's nice to have more knowledge in general, but I think the arts are important. I think the arts are good. I think knowing about the arts can give you more creativity, more inspiration, and can filter what you see in the world with a different perspective. Hard to care about something you learn about from someone who didn't care about it themselves. Good point, good point. At least smart, just not when math or directions are involved. True. True, true, true. It's the math and the spatial directions that really kill me. There's a famous hand sign that is the two middle fingers together and then the pinky and index separated that are not from a Klimt art piece, and that's the only reference that is older. I don't know if I described it well enough for the hand sign. I don't think so, but I watched the opening, so that's how I get it. But I'm surprised that it was all Klimt. I assumed when you said that it was a lot of art pieces that it was gonna be a lot of art movements, but that's possibly because I've just spent the last 40 minutes to 1 hour looking for many different art movements, so that's where my mind is at right now. I wonder if we're gonna see any other movements that I didn't show you guys. That's gonna be future Ellie's problem. For now, I think we should go, because I know we didn't do wrap up, but like, it's late. But then again, I started late. I don't know. Remember to restart your PC before streaming tomorrow. Restart not the same as turn off. Your RAM doesn't reset. Ugh. Fine. I'll reset it, I guess. But yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna leave now. I'm also getting hungry. Got things to do or just hungry? Both. I'm getting hungry and I have to do dinner. And since I'm not gonna be able to have dinner, like to make dinner Sorry. I will be able to make dinner on Monday, but I will have to make sure that I eat early. So I might want to have something already done so I can just throw it in the oven. So maybe I should go. Is there a stream tomorrow? No. The next stream is Monday night Met Gala for members. Yeah. And then after that, Thursday. Switch to less stupid system like Linux. Every day I'm more tempted to do so. The thing is, I'm scared of, like, I already have tech issues. I know that I will probably have even more if I swap. But every day I'm more and more tempted. Just because I want to get out of the fucking microslop system. I'm heavily considering changing so many things lately. If I try to do them all at once, it's not gonna stick. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a Proton email and move as many things as I can to that instead of Gmail. That's the least I can do. And maybe after that I get more comfortable doing more. I don't know. Alex, welcome. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome. Late arrival, but hope it was a fun time today for everyone. Alex, welcome. Hi. We're literally at the end of this. It's very late. It was fun when it actually started working, but first 40 minutes you should skip if you intend to watch the VOD. Didn't your Linux installation just randomly reset itself yesterday? I don't have Linux, so please do one restart every week on Wednesday or Sunday since you don't stream those days. Thank you for being a member for 31 months. I hope that you've been enjoying. I hope that you keep enjoying. Bye-bye, Ellie and everyone. I'm going to sleep. I'm super exhausted after today's event. So thank you so much for the stream. It was really fun. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your night and that you feel very well rested in the morning when you wake up. Do not upgrade to Windows 12. Okay, bye-bye. I think at some point I will have to. No matter what I do, I think at some point I will have to. Otherwise, like, things are gonna stop working, right? I am holding on for as long as possible. And maybe one day I get one of my more techie friends to actually teach me how to use Linux enough that I feel comfortable in that. I don't know. I genuinely do want to break away from Microsoft. I really do. Send to Honey and talk to Ellie. I'll see you later. I realized that it was a wrap-up when I jumped in, but I still wanted to say hi. Glad it was fun despite some issues, it seems, from what you just said. Some issues. But yes. Once I actually got going, I had a lot of fun. So I hope you did too. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go sign up for Dracula Daily. This is not an option. And I'll see you, I'll see members for Monday night looking at the Met Gala, and then Thursday for the normal streams. Thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to stretch, don't forget to drink plenty of water, try to eat nutritiously, and try to sleep 7 to 9 hours. And most important of all, be kind to yourself and to others, okay? Take care, my snake shifters. Bye-bye!